Guys, this is a crazy video that I usually only release in my private membership level for channel members. But since one of my viewers is part of this whole story, and I don't think she's a member, I will make this video public because it's chaotic. Well, being on a trip that I thought is a normal trip, I started to film normal for my members, for my channel members, starting to film where I'm going, what I'm doing, taking them with me. And, you know, it ended up being a border crossing story from Canada into the US. Crazy story, that border crossing. But before that, absolute disaster and crazy. But I will tell you about Kamchatka in this video, so stay tuned. Hi guys, I am in Hope, British Columbia. I need to go into the mountains for an appointment. And I am taking you with me. I'm just at the gas station to fill up and then, back on the highway. Yeah, there's not too much to see here in Hope, but there's the Fraser River coming down from the mountains. Looks like it has quite a bit of water. Yeah, so that's Hope from this side. Mountains there already. It's about a 2-hour drive from downtown Vancouver. So basically this road is just trees and forest and nothing else. 4 hours. I think this is Keramos. I have to look up the sign again. Lots of fruit stands. Cherries are being grown here. Yeah, so this looks like something came down from the mountain there. And then if you look at the valley, lots of fruit stands. They're growing a lot of fruit in that valley, it seems. And I smell the wildfire smoke. And guys, I have to tell you, maybe on the drive back, so many trees are dead and damaged, brown and dry because of the pine beetle. And then one lightning or one something and it lights up. Here there's not so many trees, but on the drive here, many say that this looks a little bit like Italy here. I don't know. At least they don't have a super volcano. Lots of little shops and stuff. Very touristy. Lots of RV parks, one after the other. Wineries, a lot. Seems like this is the downtown core area and the lake is in front of us. Lots of restaurants. Tourist season right now, for sure. And RVs, motorhomes everywhere. Everywhere you look. Yeah guys, it's 11:24 right now. I've been driving for, let me think, yeah, 4.5 hours, 5 hours, probably have another hour or so to go. And I saw many things that I wanted to film but wasn't so good with driving, some landslides, some interesting lakes, but next time. But now I better go back and get to my appointment. Okay guys, I found a pullout where I can, oh, it seems someone died here, where I can show you a little bit of the valley because it looks really beautiful. Well, maybe it does look like Italy a little bit. And there, this is where it is filmed by the water. It's kind of strange, it's Sunday, there's not many boats on the lake and no sailboats at all. Cars are very loud. This is where I came up, and then this is where I have to go back up there. And the area where I'm going is not that dry. It's forested. But look, there's all the motorhomes, they're all going here. I mean guys, this is like 4 to 5 hours from Vancouver, from the Pacific coast. It's beautiful, I have to say. This is more ranch country here, up the mountains after the lake, and then it's like a more flat area here. These clouds look funny. Guys, Murphy's Law, driving into the field. Look at that. I guess you can imagine what it is. That's why I look like this. That's why I'm wearing a white shirt. So guys, I have to make a formal complaint, yeah? About the German car. I really love this car, but it has a spare tire in the back. And you put it on the car and then it looks really strange because it doesn't have air, and it says put it on the car first and then put air in it. But you know, the reason why you have a flat tire in the wild is because you do not have air. But something really cool happened while I'm standing here. I'm meeting one of my viewers. The first time someone recognizes me. We're talking and they're helping me now to get the spare tire inflated because there's also no cell phone reception here, which is also really helpful. So on a Sunday with a flat tire, and I have to drive 6 hours back to Vancouver, and this spare tire that the cars have, you can only drive 80 kilometers, and I don't think I can get back to Vancouver, but it's like 3 p.m. right now, and on a Sunday, how can I buy new tires? So this is a story to be developed. I'll keep filming. Made a complete mess out of me and out of the car because I was driving like an off-road street. It's really dusty. I took the spare tire out, but so cool. I found camping chairs at Walmart just a few days ago, like $16 for a camping chair. And now I can sit in a camping chair and wait for the others. Sitting in my camping chair in the middle of nowhere, but this is cowboy romantic, I guess. Guys, well, there's always something happening, I guess. The stupid thing is that I don't have internet, so I can't do anything. I can't answer your comments. I can't edit videos because the editor needs internet. So yeah, all I can do is film and talk to you guys. And look at that mess here. Guys, this is a strange video today. I'm sitting here without internet and I'm out in the wild and I'm staring at exactly that here. As you can see, Shizzy is hitting the fizzy. And of course, these guys are here with me as well. And guys, what is really awesome, I've got this camping chair that I just found at Walmart, and I thought, hey, 16 bucks, why not throw a camping chair in the back of the car? And I have that now, so I can sit here and make a video for you. Not the usual video. So many of you have asked me in the comments, I read this on my way here, hey, why didn't you make a video about Kamchatka? And well, the reason is I had to make a trip today, and that's why I'm here out in the wild of Canada. And but Kamchatka, that is a region that has produced a devastating earthquake in the past, a magnitude 9+ earthquake. And that's why when we saw this earthquake swarm, everyone who saw it just a few hours ago, that was concerning, and there was a tsunami warning that later then thankfully was waived again. And guys, what is really cool, you know who's helping me by coincidence? I mean, there's no internet here. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and the people I was meeting here, some of them brought someone to help me with the tire, and she came here and she said, hey, I think I know you. The voice, aren't you Silky? And wow, I watch your videos, and that is really cool. So they're helping me right now to bring my spare tire to the gas station and inflate it. So yeah, guys, this is so awesome. This is because of you guys in YouTube. Amazing, right? I'm in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone reception, and this is for the first time that I personally meet one of my viewers, or that someone recognizes me. So isn't that awesome? Sometimes the coincidences in the world are absolutely crazy. Okay, it's starting to rain. The cause of all that activity in Kamchatka is because of the subduction of the Pacific plate underneath the North American plate, and it's at a speed of 8 centimeters per year. Oh, now we have a thunderstorm. This is getting even better. So a violent earthquake, a 7.4, occurred at the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia, and the quake was located 140 kilometers east of Petrovlovsk, Kamchatka. Okay, guys, it's just not. This is too wet. I can't continue, guys. I can't even see anymore. Okay, to be continued. Let me interrupt myself here because I want to tell you this about Kamchatka. Because what followed then, guys, that rain that I mentioned there, I couldn't even continue to film because my camera would have been completely wiped out. The raindrops were like that big, and within a second, Donna can confirm that we were wet, like as if we had jumped into a lake. I had a lake in my sneakers. It was crazy. Yeah, it's quite the thunderstorm now. So here's our rescuing angel. Say hi. Hello. Hi. So she just picked us up, and this is supposed to be wildfire country. I'm soaked I have a puddle in my shoes. So yeah, this is not the usual video. I'm not sure if this will be about Kamchatka or not. We have to get dry somehow. This was my angel today. That's cool. So the 7.4 earthquake in Kamchatka was located 140 kilometers, roughly 100 miles, east of Petropavlovsk Kamchatsky. That's the capital of this territory, this area. And it was at a depth of only 20 kilometers. That's still considered shallow. And in these minutes, this was an intense seismic storm that was going on. The main shake was preceded by 20 minutes before by an earthquake of 6.7, was followed less than an hour by 3 replicas, 6.7, 6.6, 6.0. These are all high magnitude. So if you're rocked by quakes like this one after another, this is all really upsetting and scary, all very shallow, depth between 8 kilometers and 20 kilometers. And the problem is a magnitude 9 earthquake was triggered in 1952, and it has caused a devastating tsunami that has spread throughout the Pacific Ocean. The cause of all this activity is attributed to the subduction of the Pacific plate underneath the North American plate. And just today, there was another magnitude 6.4 aftershock, I guess we can say, that has struck the region again. So everyone is, of course, worried that this subduction zone might produce something bigger again, because these subduction zones can do that. I'm sitting on a subduction zone, the Cascadia subduction zone, that is kind of overdue to produce a mega thrust earthquake. Japan, the Nankai Trough, can produce something like this. This is the Pacific Ring of Fire. But back to my rainy experience. I then showed you the rain when we were back in the truck and Donna was rescuing me. But what you didn't see is it was raining so hard. We really needed, my car was standing there with one tire missing. And the problem is, it turned out I had this spare tire in the back of the car, but it had to be inflated. And what the instruction says, you have to put it on the car and then inflate it with a compressor. But we didn't have a compressor. So what they said, they took that tire and tried to inflate it at their shop, but it didn't work, because you can only inflate that spare tire when it's on the car. So obviously that didn't work. So we decided, because it's been raining so much, there was no tow truck company that could come at that time. It was already like 5 p.m.-ish Sunday. So throw the damaged tire in the back of their truck and try the next day to get that tire repaired and put it back on the car. And they told me, well, leave the car there. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really scared. This is the middle of nowhere, but there was a highway, like not very heavily driven highway. I don't want to say highway. It's called highway, but it was a one lane, a road out in the middle of nowhere, right? It's not, don't think about a busy multi-lane highway, a street, let's say a street. But I was worried if that car stands there exposed, that they break in at least. I mean, stealing is a little bit difficult if it doesn't have a tire, but I thought that my equipment that was around would be stolen, because this is where I live here. You can't leave anything at your front gate. It's stolen within 20 seconds. So I was really, really worried. So yeah, it was raining like crazy, and I just grabbed my bag, my laptop and everything out of the car. And of course the dogs. Yeah, that was the thing that I did first, taking the dogs out of the car, putting them in the truck. But anyways, locked the car, I thought, and we left. And the rest of the story, it's coming. Stay with me. So I didn't have a second set of clothes or anything. And since this was kind of remote, there was nothing, no store, no Walmart or something where you could buy something. I was wet, really, as I jumped into a lake. And then trying to get a motel. We tried that. They were all booked, and took a while until I found a place. So spent the night there. The next morning we got the tire repaired and drove to my car back out there. And I was really, really worried. But when we came there, I'm like, the car has the lights on. I'm like, there was someone in the car. There was something. And then I'm like, is the engine of the car running? And then I looked at the car, and even underneath the car, because the air conditioner was running, it's these little, is it stalagmites or stalagmites when they're growing up? Looked like sulfur something, because it was dropping from the air conditioner. It was idling for, I don't know, almost 18 hours, something like that. The car was standing there running, and here comes the best, unlocked. Can you believe this? For some reason, the car didn't lock when I pressed the key or whatever, and it was raining so much and everything had to go so fast, and I didn't hear the engine run with that massive rain. And I forgot about this because, of course, while we were working on the car, I had the dogs in the car, and I let the car run so that the air conditioner would run, because it was really warm, really hot. And so I didn't hear the engine run. So the car stood there running. My gas tank was almost empty because it's been idling there so long. I'm like, oh my gosh. So put the tire back on. And then, I thought, you know what? Why don't I drive back through the US? Because there's two routes. You can drive back to the Vancouver area through Canada, which this is how I came to that place, or I could drive back through the US. And I decided, there's kind of a few places in the US that I want to see, and it's really nice there. So and there were border crossings everywhere in this area. That was interesting. So there was a border crossing really nearby, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to do that. And so yeah, here comes the next story, the border crossing. This was really funny. What a night, guys. I'm in Greenwood, and I have to show you, to get some coffee. Really, really urgently, very urgently. It's pretty. Look at that old car, and it smells really, really good. Looks really, really nice. It's really pretty. It reminds me of Colfax in Washington. Look at the coffee, guys. That's what I need right now. Cheers, guys. Yeah, on my way back, but I've decided to take the road back through the US, because if something happens again, I have better cell phone reception there. Because here I was driving for hours just through forest and mountains with nothing. No cell phone reception, nothing. So if something happens there. So the area in the US, there's more infrastructure. So I'll do that. Hopefully nothing happens. So if you want to cross the border by plane too, you need to have this ESTA registration, which is valid for 2 years. And you can do that online. It's no big deal, but it usually takes a day or up to 3 days to get you the confirmation. And I thought, that I have that because I've just been in the US with Apollo for the treatment. And so, yeah, no problem. Driving to the border, talking to the border agent, and then, yeah, they take my passport and look it up. And then he's like, you don't have ESTA. And I'm like, why don't I have ESTA? Of course I do. And then he says, no, you don't. And I'm like, oh, I had to renew my passport. And if you have a new passport, it has a different number, you have to do a new ESTA. Your ESTA expires, although the old one was valid for 2 more years. And then, but he was super nice. So the US border guard told me, well, just do this online on your phone. And if you're lucky, right, then come back. So, okay. And I said, well, how do I go back into Canada now? He said, yeah, by law, you have to go back into Canada and do it from there. So he said, just turn around, go through the customs there, go through the Canadian border. So I'm like, okay. So turn around, going through the Canadian border. And they're like, didn't you just go through the US? I'm like, yeah, explained the story. And they said, yeah, won't take long. This was the first time that someone was really nice at the Canadian border. That border agent was really helpful, really, really friendly. Usually they're not. So I was yeah, that was positive. Usually it's when I go into the United States, this is always super nice. They're super friendly and wish you well and enjoy your trip. But when I'm coming back to Canada, it's usually very unfriendly. But this was really nice. So standing, then crossed the Canadian border and just parked right there, trying to fill out the ESTA, and I did that. And I knew, yeah, then it says authorization pending. And I knew last time it took 3 days. So I thought, what did I do? I'd like to ask the US border agent, maybe he can see in his computer, can see it earlier than I can on my cell phone until I get the email if this is confirmed. Or I ask him. So turning around, go through the US border again. And I'm like, here again. And they were all laughing. And they're like, okay, what you got? And I'm like, here's the ESTA, but it's still pending. And they're like, yeah, we can see it. Hopefully, if you're lucky, it'll only take an hour, but it could take 3 days. They told me, and they said, you maybe go and have a coffee and turn around into Canada again. I'm like, okay. Go through the Canada border again. Had a nice chat with that agent there again. And then, yeah, I thought, it's not worth it. Let's go back just the way we came through Canada. I don't think this ESTA will work, right? So, but was driving to some small supermarket that was there wanting to get a coffee and some water for the doggies and stuff like this. And then started driving for about 4 minutes. And then I just felt like, let's check the email again. And it was confirmed. So I'm like, I really want to go through the US, so let's turn around. So for the third time coming to the border, and they're like, okay, now you have the record for the most border crossings within a 2-hour time frame or even per day. So very, very nice. They had a laugh. It was really, really cool. So yeah, I crossed the border and I went into the US, driving through really, really cool areas in Washington State. It was beautiful. So I'm going to show you, I didn't film too much, but I'm going to show you a little bit. Guys, this is amazing, and you can smell the trees. I'm up in the mountains in Washington State, and guys, the rocks are coming down, so you can really see that there were landslides, and then it was going down there. Look at this. Isn't this amazing? I don't want to go to the edge because I'm a little bit scared, but look at that. Isn't that beautiful? But you see all the rocks here on the edges. For sure it was coming down there. That's the road. There you see the rocks. There's bigger rocks, a lot there that were coming down from there. But gorgeous. And guys, you can smell the trees. Fresh air. It smells like a fresh cut tree. It's beautiful. Okay guys, I went a little further. There you see the landslide. On the slide with Silky. Take that, guys. Live on the slide. It's a weird feeling standing here because this goes downhill a little bit. It doesn't really feel comfy. But I wanted to show you this. And you can hear waterfalls from everywhere. Okay guys, there's the landslide. I'm leaning forward. This is crazy. This is crazy. And there's one on the other side. But yeah, that's what it is. And there it was getting into the trees. You see that? It was coming down there. Oh, that's massive there. Wow. Diablo Lake, guys, look at this. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so, but then another border crossing at the end of this trip. It was around 10 p.m. that I arrived at the border crossing in the Vancouver area, trying to get back into Canada. And it's always, you know, going back is always very an uncomfortable experience, I have to say. I have no problem if they want to search the car or whatever, because there's so many drugs crossing the border, usually from Canada into the US. Unfortunately, we hear a lot of explosions very often in the farm areas where a meth lab or a fentanyl lab blew up with a lot of drugs that are supposed to go over the border, because the border there between Canada and the US, it's basically, you can't cross, there's nothing, right? And they can't, so many dealers or whatever seem to do that. So I am for searching cars and whatever, although I do not think that if you want to smuggle something that these people are taking cars, but who knows, right? They can just walk over. But I'm all for it, really. That's not my problem. And I'm not offended quickly either. And I expect them being unfriendly. And they're trained to ask you questions, to make you insecure. So if someone has something to hide, to make them be triggered or reveal something that they can't answer, it's all good. I don't care about that. But still, so he was in his booth and he was looking at his screen, not even looking at me while talking, meaning I could not really hear him properly, right? So I was always like, pardon me, what was that? It was very rude in talking, and which was okay. And then I felt he looked at my passports and everything, and I think it seemed to me he had decided not to put me aside or search my car or whatever. But then he said to me, well, obviously I'm not a Canadian citizen, my passport is German. He said, but he knows that I'm here a legal resident. And he says, when's your flight going back to your home country? And I'm like, it's not? And he's like, well, I just thought. Very, very rude in the tone. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't say any further. I'm like, no, I'm not planning to leave Canada, right? So this was, I don't know, guys. I don't know how to describe this. The last time I crossed, I don't even remember what that guy said, but it was a similar thing that I think the moment before they let you go and let you drive away, they need to give you some, I don't know. Is it bullying? Is it an insult? They need to shove this into you. And I'm wondering, okay, why, right? So what do you want to tell me? That you don't like people coming to Canada, immigrants or whatever? I don't know. I don't even know if it was that. But like I said, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not easily offended, but I don't, did I feel angry? Did I feel, no, it wasn't a good feeling. Didn't last too long, but it lasted the drive home that I was kind of like really, right? It makes you like, it's not a welcoming feeling. Let's say it that way, right? It is kind of bullying. And I have to say, when I cross the opposite, whenever I cross from Canada into the US, of course, they're asking you where you're going, where you're staying, what are you doing. And then I'm telling them this, and then they're like, oh, this is cool. I've been surfing there. I've been doing this. When I crossed with Apollo and I said, you know, my dog's sick, I need to go to veterinary care, they ask, and they were, of course, they want to find out if my story is real. But they're tough at the beginning, but they're still friendly and very helpful. And then when you have to get your visa, you have to go into their office to do the fingerprint thing. They're so friendly, and they're really like, you feel like, how can I say that? They're servicing you. They're like, it will only take a moment. I'll speed this up, and we just have to do this. And they explain this to you. And so the reason why I'm saying this, because there's so much in the news right now in Europe and even in Canada. Don't do a border crossing and you'll be detained. And no, you won't. You know, and the stories that I have seen from people from Switzerland, that they have raised suspicion by what they did. I don't want to go into every story, but and this has always been like this, right? If your story doesn't match up completely and there's been some stuff that you didn't declare, you get in trouble, right? But I really have to say, I like to go this way, but I do not like to. It's, you know, and this is kind of sad because you feel so uncomfortable coming home. And I'm not the only one. I see this in my local groups where Canadian citizens say, well, I'm feeling bad coming back into my own country because they're insulting me. So I'm just wondering, does it have to be like this? Does that really help to find out? You know what I mean, guys. You know what I mean. I don't have a problem with tough questions and like, what do you do? What do you do? That's okay. But, you know, after you almost let people drive away, you don't need to give them a kick in the butt. That's just my opinion, guys. Whatever. I shut up right now. Yep. So this was it, guys. A very unusual, chaotic video. I hope you still liked it. If you did, leave it a like. If you want more of that chaos, click the join button, become a supporting channel member, a monthly supporter. And if you want to buy me some coffee, go to my buymeacoffee.com. No, buymeacoffee/silky.com. Oh, what? The link is in the description of this video. I'm still tired. It was like an 8-9 hour drive yesterday. Check the links in the description if you want to support the channel. Thanks for your supers. Thanks for watching. Hi to Donna. It was so nice to meet you. It was really fun. And I think this is a cool story that we shared. And I hope you're dry and well. And by the way, to getting dry with no new set of clothes, no towel, no nothing, took me a lot of hours. It was really uncomfortable. Everything was wet. So I learned from that. Now I always have a second pair of clothes in the car, not only just the camping chairs. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.